Have you ever wondered why it hurts so much when someone you value ignores you? When was the last time you felt that emptiness in your chest, seeing your messages go unanswered, or your attempts to connect met with indifference? That pain isn't coincidental. Carl Jung, one of history's most profound analytical psychologists, revealed something fascinating. When someone ignores you, they're not only triggering a primal fear of rejection, they're awakening in you a call to personal transformation. Imagine this for a moment. You're there, vulnerable, trying to establish a connection, and on the other side there's only silence, coldness, indifference. You feel your heart racing, your thoughts beginning to spin, looking for explanations. Did I do something wrong? Am I not enough anymore? Why are they treating me this way? Jung would say that this moment, as painful as it may be, is actually an invitation from the universe to look at yourself, to listen to your unconscious, and to embark on a journey toward your true self. Today's world has programmed us to constantly seek external validation. We live dependent on notifications, reactions, on knowing we're important to others. But the uncomfortable truth that Jung discovered is that every time we place our value in the hands of others, we're giving up our power. We're ignoring that inner voice that tells us we must first find ourselves. Jung explained that the collective unconscious contains archetypes, universal patterns of behavior that we all share. One of these archetypes is the shadow, that part of ourselves that we repress, that we hide. When someone ignores you and you feel that deep pain, what's really happening is that your shadow has been activated. It's that part of you that fears not being loved, that believes it doesn't deserve attention, that feels invisible. And although confronting this shadow can be uncomfortable, Jung taught us that it's precisely in this confrontation where the potential for our greatest growth resides. Think about the relationships in your life that have caused you the most pain. Did you notice how in many of them there's a pattern of seeking approval? Jung called this projection. We project onto others what we fail to recognize in ourselves. If you constantly seek the attention and validation of someone who ignores you, perhaps what you're really seeking is to reconnect with parts of yourself that you've ignored. What if I told you that when someone ignores you, it's not the end, but the beginning of something extraordinary? Jung discovered that these moments of crisis are opportunities for what he called individuation, the process of becoming who you truly are. It's as if the universe is telling you, it's time to stop searching outside for what you can only find within. Someone else's indifference toward you can be the catalyst you need to begin this transformation process. It's painful, yes, but it's also powerful. Because when you can no longer get that external validation you so crave, you're left with only one path: to return to yourself, reconnect with your essence, and discover that you never needed anyone's approval to be valuable. The first step on this journey is recognizing that the pain you feel isn't simply because that person is ignoring you. It's because you've placed your value in their hands. Jung taught us that our psyche always seeks balance. And when we emotionally depend on someone else, we're creating an imbalance that will eventually lead to suffering. Observe your patterns. Do you find yourself constantly attracted to people who are emotionally distant? Do you try harder in relationships where you feel you must earn love or attention? Jung would explain this as an unconscious attempt to heal old wounds. Perhaps in your childhood you learned that love was conditional, that you had to work to be seen and valued, and now as an adult you keep recreating that same scenario over and over, unconsciously hoping for a different outcome. But here's the liberating truth: you can break this cycle. You can choose to stop chasing those who ignore you and start honoring yourself. Jung called this withdrawing projections. It's the moment when you decide to stop looking in others for what you can only find within yourself. This process isn't easy or quick. Jung described it as a descent into darkness, an encounter with your own internal demons. But he also knew that it's only by going through this darkness that we can find our light. It's only when we stop depending on external validation that we begin to discover our true strength. When someone ignores you, you have two paths. You can continue in the cycle of seeking approval, or you can use that moment as a turning point. You can ask yourself, what am I really looking for in this person? What part of myself am I ignoring that makes me so dependent on their attention? Synchronicity, another fundamental concept in Jung's theory, suggests there are no coincidences. If you're experiencing rejection or indifference from someone, perhaps it's because there's a lesson you need to learn, a part of yourself you need to reclaim. Jung believed that the universe conspires in our favor, even when it seems to be working against us. Imagine that every time someone ignores you, instead of feeling devastated, you see it as a sign that it's time to return to yourself, to nurture your inner garden, to reconnect with your own value. This shift in perspective doesn't immediately eliminate the pain, but it gives it a purpose, a deeper meaning. Jung also told us about the complex, those groupings of thoughts, feelings, and emotionally charged memories that influence our behavior. When someone ignores you and you feel that disproportionate pain, what's really happening is that a complex has been activated. Perhaps the current rejection is resonating with past rejections, amplifying your emotional response. The good news is that by being aware of these complexes, you can begin to deactivate them. You can observe your reaction and tell yourself, what I'm feeling isn't just about this current situation, it's an old wound asking to be healed. And in that recognition, in that awareness, your liberation begins. A technique that Jung used and that you can incorporate is active imagination. It consists of dialoguing with those parts of you that feel hurt when someone ignores you. Imagine that you can sit down and talk with that inner child who fears being abandoned. Ask what it needs, what it's really looking for. This internal dialogue can reveal deep truths about yourself and help you heal from the inside out. Jung also spoke to us about the importance of symbols in our growth process. When you dream about someone who has ignored you, or when certain patterns repeat in your life, pay attention. Your unconscious is trying to communicate with you, showing you the path to your healing. These symbols and patterns aren't coincidences. They're signs on your path to individuation. As you begin this journey of self-discovery, you'll notice something fascinating. Your need for external validation decreases. You no longer feel devastated when someone doesn't respond to your messages, because you've found an inexhaustible source of value within yourself. Jung described this as finding the treasure hard to attain, that connection with your authentic self that no one can give you or take away. Remember when I mentioned the shadow? Integrating your shadow is a crucial part of this process. It means accepting that there are also parts of you that can be indifferent, that can ignore others, or that fear intimacy. By recognizing these parts, you stop projecting them onto others and begin to have more authentic and balanced relationships. Jung firmly believed in the importance of balancing opposites. Within every man, there is a feminine part, the anima, and within every woman, there is a masculine part, the animus. When someone ignores you and you feel incomplete, perhaps what you're really looking for is to integrate those opposite parts within yourself. You don't need someone else to complete you. You already have everything you need. This process of integration is what Jung called wholeness. It's the state in which you accept all your parts, the light and the dark, the strong and the vulnerable. And from this wholeness, relationships stop being a desperate search for validation and become a genuine exchange between two complete beings. Think about how you react now when someone ignores you. Do you panic? Do you obsess trying to decipher why? Or worse yet, do you begin to doubt your own worth? Now imagine facing that same situation from a place of inner fullness. Imagine being able to say, I understand that this person is choosing indifference, and although that doesn't feel good, my worth doesn't depend on their recognition. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. Jung reminded us that the process of individuation is a lifelong journey. There will be moments when you fall back into old patterns, moments when rejection still hurts deeply. But each time you choose to return to yourself, each time you remember your own worth, you're advancing on this sacred path. One of the most powerful tools in this process is introspection. Jung spent hours analyzing his dreams, writing in his journal, exploring his inner world. I invite you to do the same. When you feel the pain of being ignored, instead of seeking distractions or desperately trying to regain that person's attention, take a moment to be with yourself. Ask yourself, what is this situation teaching me about myself? This type of reflection can lead you to surprising discoveries. Perhaps you'll discover that you have a deep fear of abandonment that goes back to your childhood. Or maybe you'll realize that you've been ignoring your own needs while obsessively focusing on gaining approval from others. Whatever your discovery, it will be a crucial step on your path to authenticity. Jung also taught us about the importance of community in our growth process. Although the journey toward individuation is deeply personal, we don't have to do it alone. Surrounding yourself with people who genuinely value you, who see you in your totality, can be a powerful counterweight to the experience of being ignored. These authentic relationships remind you that you're worthy of being seen and heard, even when others choose indifference. As you advance on this path, you'll begin to notice subtle but profound changes in how you relate. You'll no longer desperately cling to those who ignore you, because you'll understand that their indifference isn't a reflection of your worth, but of their own internal state. You'll develop what Jung called detachment, the ability to observe your emotions without being consumed by them. This detachment doesn't mean disconnection or coldness. On the contrary, it allows you to be more present and authentic in your relationships. You can feel the pain of being ignored without that pain defining who you are. You can desire connection with someone without depending on that connection to feel complete. Jung also spoke of the principle of synchronicity, the idea that external events often reflect our internal reality. If you constantly attract people who ignore you, ask yourself, in what way am I ignoring myself? Perhaps you've been neglecting your dreams, your needs, or your intuition. The indifference you experience from others may be a reflection of your own relationship with yourself. By recognizing this pattern, you have the opportunity to change it. You can begin to pay attention to that inner voice that you've ignored for so long. You can start to honor your desires, respect your boundaries, validate your emotions. And as you do, you'll notice something amazing. The people who enter your life begin to reflect this new level of self-acceptance and self-love. It's important to remember that this process isn't about becoming immune to rejection. Jung taught us that vulnerability is an essential part of our humanity. Feeling pain when someone ignores you isn't a weakness. It's a reminder of your capacity to deeply connect and love. The difference is whether that pain consumes you or you integrate it as part of your complete human experience. When you begin to integrate, to accept all your parts, something magical happens. The indifference of others loses its power over you, not because you no longer feel it, but because you found a much more powerful and constant source of validation: yourself. You've discovered what Jung called the self, that center of consciousness that transcends the ego and connects with something greater. From this place of integration, you can look at those who have ignored you with new eyes. You can see that their indifference wasn't about you, but about their own wounds, their own fears, their own path. And from this understanding, compassion is born both toward them and toward yourself. Jung said that everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The indifference that hurts you is also your teacher. It's showing you where you still need to heal, where you still seek outside what can only come from within. As you advance on this path of self-discovery, you'll notice that the people who enter your life are different. You no longer attract those who ignore you, because you no longer need that lesson. Instead, you begin to attract relationships that reflect your new level of consciousness, relationships based on mutual respect, authenticity, and true connection. This is the greatest gift you can receive from those who have ignored you, the opportunity to find yourself, the opportunity to stop looking outside for what has always been within you, the opportunity to become who you truly are in all your complexity and beauty. Jung reminded us that your vision will become clear only when you can look into your heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakens. When someone ignores you, they're inviting you to awaken, to look inward, to find that clarity that no external validation can give you. The path won't always be easy. There will be days when indifference still hurts deeply, days when you doubt your worth, days when you want to return to old patterns. But in those moments, remember Jung's words. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. You choose how to respond to those who ignore you. You choose whether to remain trapped in the search for validation or to embark on the journey to your true self. This choice is yours, and yours alone. And although the path can be lonely at times, remember that you're not alone. Millions of people before you have walked this same path. They've felt the pain of being ignored, struggled with the same doubts, faced the same shadows. And many have emerged on the other side, transformed, integrated, awakened. What about you? Are you ready to use the pain of being ignored as a portal to your transformation? Are you willing to look within yourself with honesty and courage? Are you prepared to discover that everything you've been looking for in others has always been within you? Jung believed we all have this potential. He believed that within each of us there is a complete being waiting to be discovered. And perhaps, just perhaps, those people who have ignored you have been your most important teachers, guiding you toward this essential discovery. The next time someone ignores you, instead of feeling devastated, consider the possibility of thanking them. Thank them for showing you where you still need to heal, for revealing where you still seek external validation, for pushing you toward that sacred journey of self-discovery. And then, turn toward yourself with love and curiosity, ready to discover the truths that have been waiting for you to find them. This is the awakening to which Jung invited us. Not an awakening free from pain or challenges, but an awakening to the fullness of who we truly are. An awakening to that fundamental truth that no one can ignore, that you are complete, valuable, and worthy, not because someone else recognizes it, but simply because you exist. And perhaps most importantly, as you awaken to this truth, you become a beacon for others. Your journey of transformation not only changes you, but changes everyone who comes into contact with you. By choosing yourself, by honoring your own worth even when others choose indifference, you're showing others that they can do the same. If this message has resonated with you, if you felt that deep recognition in your heart, I invite you to share it. Share it with someone who is struggling with the pain of being ignored, someone who needs to remember their own worth, someone who is ready to embark on this journey of transformation. Leave your experience in the comments. How have you dealt with people who ignore you? What have you discovered about yourself in the process? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell to receive more content like this. Together, we can create a community of people committed to their personal growth, inspired by the teachings of Carl Jung and other great minds who have shown us the path to our true nature. Remember, when someone ignores you, it's not the end. It's just the beginning of an extraordinary journey to yourself. A journey worth taking. A journey that will lead you to discover that what you've always sought in others already exists within you, waiting to be found. Thank you for being here, for listening, for being part of this community. Your presence matters, your story matters, and above all, you matter regardless of who chooses to ignore you. Because at the end of the day, the only validation you really need is the one you find when you look in the mirror and recognize the beauty, strength, and wisdom that have always been within you. See you in the next video. Until then, remember Jung's words. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Find those barriers, tear them down, and discover the love that has always been waiting for you, the love for yourself.